We meet in a world that appears noisy, with accusations and counter-accusations. And yet, for most, the world is not the newspaper. It is the hallway in the house, the table where a certain voice sits, a certain pair of eyes flash. A history seems to enter the room ahead of them. There it is, face, tone, memory. And the heart says, "There's my conflict." But I must say to you, gently and firmly, the battle is never a person. Do you see that? It looks like a person. It feels like a person. It rehearses like a person at 2 in the morning. And still, the enemy you think you see out there is only the picture your own belief has animated. Here is the contrarian proposition our humanhood resists. Conflict can end without a win, because the need to win is part of the hypnosis that keeps the scene running. The thought says, if only I could answer them, prove it, fix them, top their last line. And in that very instant you have tied yourself to the wheel. Accusation leads to defense. Defense leads to escalation. Escalation summons fresh accusation, and around we go. Do you see that? Watch the loop in yourself for one honest day, and you will catch the pattern performing its little vaudeville routine on cue. It is not their act troubling you. It is your ticket in your own pocket that admits you to the theater. By hypnosis, I do not mean some carnival trick. I mean a mesmeric acceptance of appearances as power, as law, as cause, as substance. A thought picture walks across the stage, this person, this story, and we kneel to it as if it had authority. That is all hypnosis ever is. There is no such thing as an externalized illusion. The illusion is within us, the acceptance. We select a mental photograph, we name it them, and then we grant it jurisdiction over our peace. Do you see that? This is why your them grows stronger the longer you argue with it. Each word of resistance is a tithe paid to a false altar. Each plan to win is more incense on the coals. Withdraw belief and the altar is bare. But what do I do? The mind pleads. Don't try to do something. Don't try to change something. Always remember as and is. The only reality present is God as individual being. The only time reality has is, not will be. There is no future tense in truth. God is. I am. So non-reaction is not passivity. It is the holy refusal to anoint a picture with your faith. It is silence that listens through the mask for the as and rests in the is until the inner atmosphere clears. Stand there. Breathe there. If speech comes, let it come out of that presence. If none comes, let none. You are not managing a person. You are no longer feeding a phantom. And as belief is withdrawn, watch how the need to win thins and the conflict, having no host, cannot fasten. Do you see that? Sit in meditation until you feel that presence. Time means nothing. In this way, the battle dissolves before any trumpet sounds, because the only combatant was a picture you no longer serve. Let us say it as plainly as we can say anything in this work. There is no such thing as an externalized illusion. The illusion is within us. The picture is not out there in a self-powered creature. The picture is in consciousness, accepted, believed, adorned with our fear and our logic until it looks as if it were cause. Do you see that? The streetcar tracks seem to meet on the horizon. The camera insists they do. The feet on the ground know otherwise. Illusion is a way of seeing, not a thing seen. And when you understand that, an immense relief rises. If the enemy is a state of belief, you are not tasked with repairing a human being. You are asked to see through a belief. That is a different assignment entirely. What has been our hidden bargain? We make them wrong to make ourselves right. We gather evidence, line by line, witness by witness, and we build a little courtroom in the breast. We pronounce verdicts there, and the gavel feels good. But every blow of that gavel is a vow to remain bound to the very picture we condemn. Do you see that? You cannot heal a person you have first made into an illusion and then worshipped as a cause. You have enthroned an image and knelt before it for authorization to act. That kneeling is the hypnosis. Stand up within. Withdraw belief. The altar is empty when you stop supplying incense. Now, how does this function on Tuesday afternoon when a voice rises across the room? Catch the first tightening, the hot, familiar surge, and say, not aloud if you like, this is only a picture in consciousness claiming cause. Father, reveal thyself. And be still. Don't try to win, don't try to fix, don't rehearse your better argument. Don't try to do something. Don't try to change something. Always remember as and is. The only reality present is God as individual being. The only time reality has is. There is no future tense in truth. Do you see that? If you postpone peace to the moment they behave, you have made their behavior your God. You have given away your shepherd and taken a weather vane. This is inner, present, immediate. Right here the acceptance withdraws. Right here the picture loses oxygen. Sometimes the outer scene softens at once. Sometimes it appears to go on for a while, like a wheel turning after the motor is cut. Pay no attention to the lingering spin. You have addressed cause where cause is, within consciousness. God is. I am. Abide there. And if a word is required of you, let it rise out of that abiding. If none is required, be content with the fullness of silence. Never give up. Never give up. Time means nothing because truth is not scheduling an arrival. The adversary was never a person, only a belief you no longer serve. Do you see that? Now let me place into your hands the as secret. Not God and man, God as man. Not God somewhere and the person over here, God appearing as individual being. Yes, even as the one you are resisting. Do you see that? If you carry the old picture of two, one holy essence over there, one irritant over here, you have already elected conflict. The moment you recognize one substance, one life, one law, the theater of opponents cannot raise its curtain. Why? Because there is not a second substance to supply it with roles. Take the simple glass on your table. It is glass, appearing as tumbler. You may have a window pane, a vase, a tumbler. The shapes differ, the transparency varies, but the substance is one. Glass. You do not stand there and fight the tumbler as a second substance at war with glass. You behold glass taking a useful form. Suppose a smudge rests on it, a chip on the rim. Is there now a second substance called smudge with power to dethrone glass? No. There is only glass, and upon it an appearance. You clean the smudge, you smooth the rim, not to change the substance, but to reveal what was there all along. Glass as tumbler. Do you see that? Now bring this to your Tuesday quarrel. You are not dealing with a sovereign, independent power called their personality. Personality is the smudge on the tumbler, an appearance on the one substance, spirit. The life animating that face is not a rival life. It is the life you call God, appearing as individual being. If you forget the substance and fasten on the shape, you will contend with shapes forever and call it righteousness. If you anchor in the substance, the compulsion to win evaporates, because there is nothing to conquer, only something to recognize. I and my Father is one. Permit me the grammar, for the oneness is that tight. Not two yoked, one. The Father as the Son, the invisible as the visible, God as this individual and that one, and you. When you look at the one you resist and inwardly declare, "Here is God," appearing as, you remove the battery from the conflict. The battery was the belief in two powers. Withdraw that belief and the whole apparatus goes quiet. Do you see that? Don't try to do something. Don't try to change something. Behold. If words are required, let them rise from this beholding of substance as form. If silence is required, let it be radiant with the recognition. God is here, as and is. I am. Strangely, you will notice that the quick tongue loosens its grip, the tight chest releases, and the courtroom in the breast adjourns without a verdict. Not because you have won, but because there is nothing left to try. One substance, one law, one life, one cause. Never give up this recognition. Return to it 10 times, 100 times, until it clicks. The moment you see God as, you stop feeding the illusion of two powers, and the need to win, having lost its opponent, falls off like a costume after the play. Do you see that? Now we must take the next step. As without is leaves you admiring a principle while postponing its fruit. Hear it, take it into your very breath. There is no future tense in truth. Peace does not arrive after an apology. Harmony is not a train due at 4:15. Truth is not en route. Either you recognize it now, or you are standing before a picture asking it to be your God. Do you see that? If you say, "When they understand me, then I'll be free," you have elected a savior in their conduct and delayed God to a future weather report. You have made the clock your priest and the calendar your counselor. That is why the heart grows tight, waiting for an usher who never comes. You have postponed is. Let me uncover the hook that keeps so many on the line. The mind says, "Give me a change out there and I will believe in peace." But belief does not follow change. Change follows recognition. There is no future tense in truth. The Father does not become shepherd when the sheep behave. The shepherd is. The moment you tether your peace to a later event, you have handed your dominion to a moving target and called it prudence. Do you see that? You are not harsh for seeing this. You are merciful. To yourself and to the one whose shoulders were never meant to carry your salvation. How then do we abide in, is when the mind demands an answer this instant. Use what I give you now and use it often until it settles into you like breath. God is. I am. Not recited to produce an effect, but allowed to announce what already is. Let it be your inner stop sign when the engine of reactivity starts to race. God is, and the gears disengage. Is, and the pressure in the chest loosens. I am, and authority returns to its home. This is not auto-suggestion. This is recognition. You are not pulling reality toward you. You are standing still long enough to notice that it never left. Non-reaction is not a feat of jaw clenching. It is not suppression. It is sanctification. It is refusing to grant a mental picture the dignity of law while you abide in isness. The anger that seemed to rise, let it be seen as weather across consciousness, not a statute to obey. Be still within it. Don't try to do something. Don't try to change something. Rest the gaze inward until the atmosphere clears of its own accord. You will feel the difference between smothering a fire and discovering that the match never lit. Do you see that? To practice is, you must resign from managing them. Withdraw the invisible hands that keep trying to shape another's face into your peace. Turn those hands inward and open them. Feel the presence, not as a future guest, here. Sit in meditation until you feel that presence. Time means nothing. 1 minute or many is the same, for only now is sacred. The compulsion to win will wither in that light, because there is nothing to win and no opponent to defeat. Only is. Only I am. Never give up. Never give up. Return to is until it clicks, and you will find that peace has been standing, unshaken, where you are. Do you see that? So then, what is this itch to score the point? To have the last line, to be crowned right? That is the old creature, the personal sense that survives by comparison. Right against wrong, victor over loser, superior above inferior. It has no bread of life of its own. It feeds on contrast, the way a moth circles a lamp, needing the glare to prove its outline. Do you see that? The very moment you feel the drive to win, you can be certain that the old creature is in the pulpit. It cannot live in oneness. It must have two. It cannot breathe in is. It must postpone peace until the trophy is in hand. There is no future tense in truth, but the old creature thrives on, when I win, then I can rest. Here is the paradox that startles us into honesty. Winning an argument usually deepens the conflict. Why? Because what you won was not peace. You won a stronger belief in two powers and two selves. You fortified the courtroom in the breast and gave the gavel more weight. The other may go quiet for a night, but within you, the sense of two has been fed, and it will require another opponent tomorrow to keep itself alive. The old creature needs enemies the way a fire needs oxygen. Cut off the oxygen, and the flame goes out. Keep fanning it with victory, and you will insist on more battles. Do you see that? Take the simple, homely moment when you compose the perfect comeback. You know it. The sentence lands just so. The evidence is irrefutable, and for a second, you relish the send. Now, before you press it into the world, look within. Notice the contraction under the ribs, the small heat in the face, the breath that has shortened. That little grip is your witness. You are under hypnosis, not in freedom. You are trying to change an appearance instead of abiding in truth. The picture on your mental screen has become your sovereign, and you are bowing to it for permission to be whole. Do you see that? We are not here to repair human relationships by force. We are here to witness the new creature, Christ identity, where the oppositional self disappears. Not a patched-up person, not a trained debater with better manners. The old set aside, the new creature Christ appearing. This is quite a different thing than a moral victory followed by a fragile truce. When the new creature is witnessed, the need for a winner is absent because there is no second life to defeat. One life, one law, one cause. I and the Father is one. Yes, let the scholars forgive me. The oneness is that indivisible. So in that instant when the comeback sparkles, do not send it. Don't try to do something. Don't try to change something. Turn inwardly and return to as and is. Father, reveal thyself here as this one, as me, and be still. God is. I am. Sit in meditation until you feel that presence. Time means nothing. Let the inner atmosphere change authority, from the old creature's appetite to Emmanuel's quiet reign. Wait for the click. If a word is then required, it will not cut. It will heal without trying. If silence is required, it will not be clenched. It will be fullness. You will discover a peculiar joy that has no opponent in it. The chest is open, the breath is long, the face is cool. Whether the outer scene bends today or waits for tomorrow's sunrise, within you the two powers myth has lost its altar. That is victory, though no one lost. Do you see that? Never give up. Never give up. Withdraw belief from the old creature's diet of opposition. Abide in as and is, and you will witness, not a winning, but the appearing of what is already true. Peace without an opposite. Now take this into the breath of your day. When the surge starts, notice it. That is step one. The first tightening, the warmth in the face, the clipped breath. The courtroom beginning its roll call. That is your bell. Do you see that? Do not call it me. Call it the picture calling for incense. Step 2. Pause the tongue. Put a guard at the lips. Let no syllable out until authority is restored within. This is not cowardice. This is priestly work. You are refusing to answer mesmerism with mesmerism. Do you see that? Step 3. Inwardly withdraw belief from the picture. Say within, this is only an image claiming law. Father, reveal thyself here as this one, as me. Don't try to do something. Don't try to change something. Always remember as and is. Step 4. Return to is. God is. Is. I am. Not to make something happen later, but to recognize what is. There is no future tense in truth. The Lord is my shepherd, now. Rest the gaze there until the atmosphere in you shifts. Step 5. Listen for the inner quiet. Wait. Let Emmanuel take the chair. The click may be a soft loosening in the chest, a stillness in the head, a sweetness that needs no proof. Without that click, keep still. With it, you are under right government. Now hear me. Non-reaction is not permission for abuse. It is refusal to lend a counterfeit scene your faith while you receive right guidance. Sometimes the guidance is a word, soft and weighty. Sometimes it is silence that is full. Sometimes it is to remove your body from the room or hang up the telephone, not in heat, but in obedience to the inner government you have just felt. That is not passivity. That is action without an opposite. You are not dealing with a person. You are honoring God appearing as individual being, including the form you wear. Do you see that? Practice the only minute on earth discipline. Treat this instant as the whole of life. No past to rehearse, no future to bargain with, no imaginary jury to impress. Here is the only minute on earth. In this minute, God is. I am. In this minute, I and the Father is one. If the mind drags you to yesterday's injury or tomorrow's proof, bring it back with the mantra of is. The shepherd is now. Truth never travels, it only is. Do you see that? This is the bridge from theory to life. The conflict does not end because you won. It ends because the altar went bare when you withdrew belief. Often you will find that the outer scene loses its appetite for drama without any speech from you. And if speech comes, it will not cut. It will heal without trying. Stand in this fivefold rhythm 100 times today if need be. Sit in meditation until you feel that presence. Time means nothing. Never give up. Never give up. End conflict in the instant. Withdraw belief. Return to as and is. And let the picture fade for lack of your incense. Now we come to the hinge on which the door truly swings. Technique without presence is a trimmed lamp without oil. Shiny, useless, soon dark. You may pause the tongue. You may recite. You may breathe evenly, and still keep a small courtroom going inside if Emmanuel has not taken the chair. Do you see that? The click I speak of is not a thrill, not a sentimental mist. It is recognition. It is authority moving in. It is the sense, quiet, unmistakable, that I and the Father is one, and that oneness is governing here. The appetite to judge goes out like a candle in a rain. You do not suppress it. It simply cannot live in that atmosphere. Sit in meditation until you feel that presence. Do not measure the minutes. Time means nothing. 5 days, 5 years, or 20 years. Because truth is not earned. It is realized. Oh, the human mind will make a bargain. Give me 3 weeks and I will be a saint. Won't that be nice? Then we can go to the movies every night. No. This is for serious students who prefer peace over triumph, reality over display, God over being right. Do you see that? We do not sit to become expert performers of non-reaction. We sit until Emmanuel is the only authority in the room. Without that felt presence, non-reaction becomes a costume. Good-looking, polite, and secretly hard with judgment. You will nod, you will smile, and within you, a ledger will fill with small red numbers. With the presence, the ledger vanishes. Not because you tried to forgive, but because there is nothing to forgive where one life is seen. Don't try to do something. Don't try to change something. Always remember as and is. God as this one. God is this now. There is no future tense in truth. How do you know the quick has come? The engine that was racing idles of itself. The chest opens. The mind, which had 10 perfect lines to deliver, grows absolutely uninterested in delivering them. The atmosphere changes government. You do not decide to be kind. Kindness is the climate. Do you see that? From within that climate, speech, if it comes, heals without trying. Silence, if it holds, shines instead of seethes. And most of all, the figure before you, once labeled opponent, is transfigured. Here is God appearing as individual being. Here is the new creature, Christ, made visible where an enemy used to stand in your thought. Stay with it. Sit again tomorrow and the day after. If nothing seems to happen, sit. If waves of old story rush through, sit. Never give up. never give up. Time means nothing because the shepherd is. You are not stockpiling merit. You are yielding to what already governs. And when the click abides as your constant, non-reaction is no longer an act. It is your nature recognized. Conflict cannot fasten because there is no second power left to feed it. Do you see that? God is. I am. Emmanuel, God with us, here, now, as the only authority. Now let us take the staff that has been in your hands all along and learn to lean on it rightly. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Not as poetry, not as a framed quotation over the mantel, but as an instrument in the heat of the room where voices rise. The Lord is, present tense, my shepherd. Therefore consciousness lacks nothing. Do you see that? If consciousness lacks nothing, it need not grasp for victory, for approval, for safety in the form of domination. Every push to win is a confession of want. The psalm answers want with is. The shepherd is. When the old creature shouts, "I am not respected here," or "I am not safe here," or "No one understands me," you have identified three wants: for respect, for safety, for understanding. Each want tempts reaction. Each want bids you leave is for a future correction. In that very instant, bring the psalm home, not as words to fling across the table, but as bread for your own heart. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Pause. Let it sink from lips to marrow. The shepherd is, and therefore I do not lack respect. I do not lack safety. I do not lack understanding because I and the Father is one. Do you see that? Not a syllable has been directed at them. You have withdrawn belief from the picture and restored authority to is. Add to this the name spoken from the burning bush. I am that I am. Not, I am this personality with its file of injuries. I am that I am. Spirit being itself as this appearing. Say it softly inside the ribs when the heat rises. I am that I am. God is. I am. Don't try to do something. Don't try to change something. Always remember as and is. God as this one you behold. God is this now. The two-edged sword of Scripture does not cut people. It severs the tie to mesmerism. Do you see that? Watch what happens in the body when Scripture is allowed to be practiced. The shoulders drop a fraction. The jaw unclenches. The breath lengthens as if a hand had released the bellows. The courtroom in the breast adjourns. The gavel grows light. The scene outside may not have altered a hair yet, but perception has changed jurisdiction. The shepherd is governing here. There is no future tense in truth. You are not chanting to attract a later peace. You are recognizing the peace that always is. Do you see that? Use the psalm precisely in the moment want calls. I want them to hear me. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. I want to feel safe. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. I want to be proved right. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Feel how each repetition takes the oxygen from the fire of reactivity and gives it to the flame of recognition. Not one line is a weapon. Every line is a staff. You need not announce your holiness to the room. The room will sense another government without a speech. Sit in meditation until you feel that presence. Time means nothing. Scripture is a living mantra that restores when the mind demands a win. Never give up. Never give up. In this very now, the shepherd is, I am that I am, and the picture, unfed, has no law to continue. Do you see that? Let me give you homely proof, the sort you can recognize before the dishes are done tonight. A cutting remark flies across the room, sharp, practiced, accurate enough to split a hair, and your patience with it. In the old rhythm, you feel the courtroom rise. Call the witness, draft the closing argument, deliver the verdict with interest. And what happens? The picture fattens. The scene grows muscles. Reaction supplies oxygen to an image and then complains of the fire. Do you see that? Now here is the turning. You refuse to answer. First within. No rehearsal, no prosecution, no defense. You put down the gavel and say, quietly inside, Father, reveal thyself here as this one, as me. God is. I am. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. Feel the shoulders lower a degree, the breath lengthen. If a word rises, it is a soft word that does not bargain for victory. If silence holds, it is not icy, it is full. And behold, the enemy blurs at the edges. You hear nuance where a caricature stood. Sometimes the other softens unbidden. Sometimes nothing outward seems to budge, and yet the sting is gone. You have not fixed a person. You have withdrawn belief from a picture and watched smoke lose its shape. Do you see that? Another proof? The cold silence. Days of it. No reply to your message, averted eyes in the hallway. The old creature rushes to fill the gap, accuse, pry, perform small dramas to force a response. That is want. The shepherd answers want with is. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. Sit a moment right there in the absence and let is take the chair. I am that I am. Not tomorrow when they come around. Now. The ache that demanded approving begins to dissolve. And here is the marvel. Whether the call comes this afternoon or next week, the hook is out of your lip. You meet them without ledger, or you meet the day without them, and neither meeting has a bruise in it. Nothing was repaired. A hypnosis ended. The picture had no law once you stopped feeding it incense. Do you see that? One more, in the bright light of work. The pattern repeats. Someone interrupts you in the meeting. Always that one. Formerly you matched force with a louder outline of yourself. Today you remember substance. Here is God appearing as individual being, as and is. I and the Father is one. Pause the tongue. Return to God is. I am. Wait for the click. Authority shifts. The urge to dominate loosens. You speak one clear sentence, no embroidery, or you yield the floor and find the room, oddly, turns to you anyway. Perhaps the interrupter thanks you later. Perhaps not. What changed? Not a personality tweak, not better debating form. The battery was pulled from the device that required opponents. The picture lost nutrition. Do you see that? Hold the principle steadily. Illusion persists only while it is believed. Withdraw belief, and it dissolves. Not gradually like a patient convalescing, but like mist before sun. You have pierced the veil. You have not conquered a person. And the after scent of it is unmistakable. You are not a polished old self. You are witnessing another consciousness entirely, the new creature. The appetite to win has no soil there, because there is no second power to defeat. One life, one law, one cause. Never give up. Never give up. Sit until the click. Practice as and is in the very heat, and watch how the scene that seemed adamant becomes air. God is. I am. Do you see that? Now when the air goes clear after a stormy hour, do not be fooled by the quiet into thinking you have engineered a better relationship. You haven't witnessed an improved pair of personalities, all sanded and polite. You have witnessed the disappearance of humanhood and the appearing of Christ identity where personal sense once fought. Do you see that? What has gone is the itch to explain yourself into innocence, to punish into righteousness, to convert into agreement. The theater that required two actors has lost its stagehand. Without two powers, there is no play. This is why the change feels undramatic and yet unmistakable. You notice it in negatives that are blessed. Less compulsion to draft speeches. Less appetite to set the record straight. Less longing to make them see. Something in you is no longer under subpoena. The self that needed witnesses and verdicts has dropped away, like a coat you forgot to put on. You haven't become a better winter coat. You discovered you are not cold. Do you see that? That is the new creature. Not a repaired person, but a revealed presence. If any man be in Christ, he is a new creature. Not will be, is. There is no future tense in truth. Now hear how forgiveness looks from this altitude. It is not a moral act aimed at a guilty person, as if you owned a treasury of virtue to dispense. That is still two powers. True forgiveness is recognition. The picture that provoked reaction never carried divine authority. It was a smudge on the tumbler, a cloud on the mountain, no law, no substance. When you see that, the grudge cannot find a hook. The ledger closes because there is no debtor. You do not forgive magnanimously. You behold truth, and the offense has nowhere to live. Do you see that? And yet, understand this clearly. The new creature does not float through life without edges. Boundaries remain, but they are born of truth, not reaction. Right activity may ask you to say no, to walk out of a room, to decline a contract, to report a harm, to end a partnership. Not as punishment, not to win, but because Emmanuel in you orders it, and peace attends it. The difference is palpable. Reaction burns and wants an audience. Right activity is quiet, clean, and finished the moment it is done. You feel no aftertaste, no need to narrate your bravery at dinner. God is. I am. I and the Father is one. Action from that oneness carries its own law and needs no victory banner. Do you see that? Test yourself gently. After the choice, after the word or the silence, what abides? If there is a deep stillness, if the breath moves freely, if the urge to check whether you won cannot find foothold, then the new creature is present. If not, be tender. Return to as and is. Don't try to do something. Don't try to change something. Always remember as and is. God as this one. God is this now. Sit in meditation until you feel that presence. Time means nothing. Never give up. Never give up. Relationships do not heal by negotiation. They are revealed whole as the myth of two powers dissolves. True resolution is revelation, the new creature appearing where the old demanded a win. Peace is your evidence. Do you see that? Now hear this plainly, for this is where many stumble and then scold themselves back into the old courtroom. The mind will try to return to them. It will rehearse, decorate, and litigate. It will wake you at 2 a.m. with a new paragraph. Do you see that? This is not failure, it is weather. Your practice is not to conquer weather. Your practice is to return, again and again, to as and is, without condemnation. The moment you discover you are feeding the picture, put down the incense. Father, reveal thyself here as this one, as me. God is. I am. I and the Father is one. That returning is the path. That returning is the proof. Never give up. Never give up. Beware the old measurement that asks, has the outer scene changed yet? There is no future tense in truth. If you hitch your devotion to an outcome, you have appointed a moving target as your high priest. Do you see that? Measure differently. Measure by the speed of your return, by the shortening of inner arguments, by the frequency with which you find yourself resting in presence without effort. Yesterday it took hours to cool. Today it takes minutes. Tomorrow, seconds. Yesterday the speech ran 10 pages. Today it is a paragraph. Soon it doesn't start. These are not grades. They are signs of jurisdiction changing. Emmanuel taking the chair more quickly. Establish a daily rhythm. In the morning, before you consult the world, sit in meditation until you feel that presence. Do not time it with a stopwatch. Time means nothing. 5 minutes or 50, who cares, until the click. God is. I am. Father, reveal thyself as this day, as my seeing, as each one I shall meet. Then rise under government. At midday, between calls, at the sink, in a corridor, practice the only minute on earth remembrance. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. God is, now. 10 seconds of isness arrest an hour of reactivity. In the evening, review, not to blame, but to overhaul belief. Where did I worship a picture? Where did I remember as and is? Thank the glimpses. Where you fed the illusion, withdraw the belief gently and let is close the book. Some days feel dry, and the click seems a continent away. Sit anyway. The mind will bargain. Surely by Friday I shall be a saint. Won't that be nice? Then we can all go to the movies every night. No, this is devotion, not a contract. Never give up. Never give up. Each return is success because each return denies two powers and enthrones one. What follows is very simple. Life grows quiet at the roots. Less drama, less appetite for an outcome, more clean action born of presence. You will find sentences unsaid, confrontations unnecessary, and, when action is ordered, its edges are soft and its aftertaste sweet. Winning becomes uninteresting because there is nothing to defeat. Peace attends you, not as a prize, but as atmosphere. Persistence is the price of living from truth rather than from appearances. Pay it gladly. God is. I am. I and the Father is one. Never give up. Never give up. Time means nothing, for the shepherd is. And as you persist, conflict discovers no altar in you and quietly ends itself. Do you see that? So let us close quietly and plainly. We began with the sobering fact that there is no such thing as an externalized illusion. The enemy was not a person. It was a state of belief held within. Then the veil thinned, and we beheld the as secret, God appearing as the very one we were resisting. From there, the is secret stood up. There is no future tense in truth. Peace is present isness, not an outcome. On that ground, non-reaction ceased to be passivity and became priestly work. You withdrew belief from the picture, authority changed hands within, and the new creature appeared. Christ identity, where the old courtroom had sat. Do you see that? So here's your benediction and your practice, condensed to a breath. The next time the trigger appears, today, perhaps before the ink of this hour is dry, stop. Pause the tongue. Go inward. Say nothing to the picture. Father, reveal thyself here as this one, as me. God is. I am. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. Wait for the click. There is no future tense in truth. You are not invoking a later peace. You are recognizing what is. When peace is felt, even a thread, let that be government. If a word rises, let it heal without trying. If silence holds, let it be full, not clenched. Either way, you have refused to feed the fire. Do you see that? And when the personal self rushes in with its briefcase, oh, it will. Let it talk. It will cite precedent, present exhibits A through Z, and remind you of last summer and second grade. Let it hold court in the hall if it must. You keep the sanctuary. Don't try to do something. Don't try to change something. Always remember as and is. God as this one. God is this now. Sit in meditation until you feel that presence. Time means nothing. The mind will tire of its own monologue. Presence does not weary. I and the Father is one. Here is the promise that will strike the ear as strange until it is your daily weather. Conflict ends without winning, because nothing real was ever opposed. When you withdraw belief from a picture and rest in God's present reality, you do not defeat a person. You behold the one life where two seem to be. The altar in you goes bare, and the drama loses its law. So go now with a simple creed ready on your lips and in your ribs. God is. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. I am that I am. I and the Father is one. Never give up. Never give up. In this very now, let conflict end itself for lack of your incense. Do you see that?